Why does my mic keep doing this? Why do I have to increment this command like every freaking stream these days? I don't know. Anyway, hi guys. Hello Flintlock. Hello Bath Tubed. Hello semicolon. 4 o'clock meetings are evil. Sorry. But that's I had to pick a time. It's gonna be evil for some people, inconvenient for others, but glad you could make it out at least for part of it. This is the group discussion stream, so if you played the seed and would like to join the group discussion, just hit the request join button at the top of the Twitch chat, and I'll get you up and in. 1:30 in the morning. Geez. Yep. The time zones, they are a fuck. What can you do? What can you do? Defect Owens, good to see you as well. And yeah, so requests are on. If you want to see follow along with the spreadsheet that I'm going to be going through, exclamation mark stats, to get the link, because I know on stream it can be a little bit small sometimes, especially for the big data sections instead of just the charts. But yeah, that is the vibe. So I think we got about a third of the people who tried this seed managed to win. 11 p.m. debating if you'll annoy your housemate by joining. Well, I'm not your housemate, so I can't say for sure, but you're welcome to if you decide that the risk of their wrath is worth it. But yeah, looks like we had about a third of the people who tried this seed managed to win on it. It certainly was a challenging one, path dependent. I did a more detailed breakdown this time of the winning decks that got submitted, the full run histories, because I thought it was a super interesting group of different types of runs that came along with it, and I found these three especially interesting because you notice in scaling there's zero focus or the other kind of normal kinds of defect scaling offered or found. Baylor literally only found a recycle on floor 48. Tony found a recycle and a loop, but no focus to go with that loop. Machine learning and recycle. Shoe Snorter is kind of here because he had a defrag, but that wasn't really what the deck was doing. Status breakdowns are my favorite thing every week. Thanks for doing these every time. Oh, I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad to hear that you enjoy them. But yeah, I think I need to watch your VOD at some point, by the way, One Pun Man, because your run seemed pretty wild as well. From the core, no focus, no reprogram, with only Sozu for energy and none of the usual, again, kinds of scaling. I don't know if you have a TLDR in your head for how the deck managed to work. Was it just recycle down? Thought I played well, but rewatched my own run later and was like, this guy's actually stupid. That's me every single time I watch my own VODs. I've said it before, I will say it again. Streaming on Twitch just drops your Spire IQ points by at least 10 or 20. There's just so much to keep track of at the same time between actually playing the run and managing everything and managing chat and talking out loud and trying to be at least somewhat entertaining and all the rest of it, that when you're just a viewer and you're looking at it back afterwards, it's like, why didn't I do that? Why didn't I do that? It's literally right there. Why? Yep. So relatable experience for what it's worth. But you managed to pull out a win regardless. So congratulations on that. I was going to sleep, no joining, but you can chat for about an hour before you need to sleep myself. I don't know why it keeps switching. I don't know why it keeps doing that. I'm writing this down as a thing to try to figure out between streams, because otherwise I'm going to forget and then it's just going to keep happening. Why is audio a fuck again? That's my note to myself. All right. I think we're back for now, at the very least. The whole bar thingy is moving. So yeah, had a couple runs in that boat of just no scaling of any kind really offered or found, and scraping out a win at the last minute. Looks like all of you guys had recycle. So is it a sort of going infinite as the plan and just exhausting down? I know for Shoe Snorter that was the plan from basically the beginning, but if you where did I put it? The card and relic counts. Boot had a pretty small deck compared to literally everybody else who won. So yeah, So cool, by the way. Thank you, thank you. I am glad that you guys are freakingly actually why though? Actually, why though? I'm not clicking anything. I just say use this microphone on the Twitch side and then it just randomly changes it. I don't understand. Um one day the audio will work. We pray. We pray. Until then, we will we will technology is garbage. Um yeah. Um Thing had defrag is scaling. Meanwhile, my defrag does anything in literally one fight. Yeah, that's why I put you with like as a sort of in the no focus group with a slightly lighter background because like that's how your deck worked. The defrag was there technically, I suppose, but is not. Jesus fucking why? Like actually why? I'm just gonna keep this open now and see if that changes anything. Um, but yeah, the what you calls boss relics. Normally, there's only one extra boss relic that you would see if you were a boss swapper, but in this case, because Frozen Core was in the pool, you can't see Frozen Core as well if you boss swap. So there was two extra options, and the extra options were Runic Pyramid and Snecko Eye, both very strong in their own ways. Everyone who took Pyramid won, shockingly. It might arguably be kind of a good relic, perchance. Snecko Eye 2-1 at least from the people who submitted, but it seemed like of those two, they both had at least one, if not two, meteor strikes in the deck with Snecko, which is what you want with defect Snecko. Um, where did this? I have too many freaking tabs on here. I like charts too much and just adding more things, and then I can't find shit. Um, but yeah, Pyramid owns Black Star was sort of the like you're forced into taking something here and you actively don't want the other options, I suppose. At least that was my logic when it was between Dome, Sozu, and Star for Wet and I on the Team Not Dork run. Is we definitely didn't want Dome, and considering that was 0 for 2, I still stand by that one. Sozu, I forget what potions we had at the time, but they were not good Act 4 ones. I think it might have been like one Vuln pot or something stupid like that. Your Sozu was free? Fair. Um, yeah, so for us at least, it was sort of a forced Black Star. And then on the upside, the pathing in Act 4 said that, yeah, let's freaking use that. Of almost everybody took 4 elites. Almost everyone who made it to Act 3 took 4 elites. And I think that was actually forced if you needed the green key, or at least 3 of them were forced. I don't know if all 4 were. Opim says, I was wondering about Star, but I thought I needed Sozu energy. And after watching my girlfriend take Star and get 8 useless relics, happy about Sozu. Yeah, that's what Wet put in our form submissions here. Where was it? Take Star over Sozu Dome, fight 4 elites, get 0 relics, is kind of how it felt at the end of it. So rare that you'd want to take Dome as 5th energy. Yeah, I agree. Often take it as 4th. When you need the energy, you need the energy, but it is one hell of a downside, and it can be tough to justify. Also, hello, Kit. Welcome to the party. We are talking Seed of the Week shenanigans. Um, yeah. So lots of elite farming in Act 4, but weird late game relic bar. Very weird late game relic bar. Dome is so weird, it's so good as a swap, and then so depressing everywhere else. It can be good as a swap, but I mean, I feel like most energy relics except Crown are nice as a swap because like 4 energy in Act 1 is just really good, and then you can kind of greed build a more expensive deck than you otherwise could. Okay, Sozu Swap is pretty bad. That's fair. That's fair. But yeah, in general, energy good. Playing with Dome makes me depressed. Fair. There's sort of that bell curve meme again of, Dome sucks on both ends, and then in the middle it's like, no, you just have to learn the enemy intents and it's great. You did win. Sozu must be great. Sozu must own, and also running faced first into like 5 elites with no campfires and no potions and no anything and no burning blood is also an excellent idea for Ironclad. Learnings to take. Hey, Gan, it seems like I missed the run. Hope it went well. This isn't a single run. This is a recap stream. So this is for !Seed of the Week. If you're unfamiliar with the format, we're just going over sort of group stats from everybody's runs from the past week to see if we can find things to learn out of it. Unfortunately, Wet and my run last week from last Monday, we did not pull it through. We got completely owned by Spire Elites and then limped into the heart and died there. It was one of those decks that you kind of expect that to happen. It was creative AI and friends duct taped together by a hope and a dream. I think we did see the late game recycle, but didn't have a lot speaking for it. Everyone is getting further for you guys. It's true. It's true. We died to Act 2 boss in the first week, died to Act 3 boss in the second week, died to Act 4 boss this week, or last week. So this week, it's all coming together. It's how statistics work. I could make a chart of that. Oh gosh. Yeah. We are also slow. Because we talk about everything. Tony, I don't know if Tony is around, but mentioned this was a multi-day run of just big braining everything. Because again, in that top group of no focus, no scalings, no default sort of defect ways to win. Data science, yes. All your time went in actually playing out the freaking infinites. How early did you go infinite again? Was it it was Act 2, right? I think it was Magnil replayed the seed and found that if you make like complete monkey choices, you can actually go infinite by the Guardian on this seed. You would have to like go like really, really, really all in on that, which is, I think, hard to know that you're supposed to do that. Mid Act 2, yeah. Cool. Don't go complete degen. Yeah, still need to live, exactly. Solid Fox saying, haven't won any of the seeds yet, despite being partially spoiled on a couple of them, which is why you didn't submit. Fair enough. I mean, you're welcome to submit anyway. I put an asterisk on Boots' run here as well, because I think you had to save scum at one point for like the game crapped out and then shrines were messed up or something. You can correct me if I'm wrong and misremembering that, but again, it's like it's a casual thing. There's one person who actually played it on a different profile, and it was the first run of that profile, and they had like all the unlocks and stuff, but there's something like really hard coded into the game that your first run on any given character has to face certain bosses, I believe. So they had effectively the same seed as everybody else for the vast majority of the game, but just fought different bosses. So I have their stuff in here as well. What was it? Where did I can't remember. I thought I put an asterisk, but that was probably in. First one gets no Niao bonus. Seeded runs always get all 4 Niao bonuses, yeah. I can't remember who it was. I can look that up later. But yeah, I just sort of moved their numbers up to the Guardian and the Champ, even though it was Hexaghost and Automaton. Actually, I can just check here because they put it in there. Yeah, it was Shmemeron. Didn't find focus and died to Automaton. So, yep, technology. But again, all of this is to say that this is a casual kind of group community thing, right? I'm not taking it anywhere near as seriously as like Chegg's Invitational. It's no competition. There's no like super strict about things. So if you get partially spoiled and you still want to try it out, by all means try it out. Feel free to submit as well if you like, but just use the sort of asterisk for like I only sort of won, and your thing will still be included in the details section where people go to click in and read, but it won't be included in the overall stats breakdown of like percentage of people who won versus lost it, because it's hard to know like how to count those. But yeah, if you want to submit anyway and then put like a little have me put a little asterisk beside your stats, I can do that too. I think data is cool. How does the damage taken thing work? I think there were 2 big heads, but it only includes 1. Right. Yeah. I am going to make a note about that too, because I'm pretty sure it just takes the second one. Dupe elites on damage chart. Yeah, it'll fill it in, and then the second elite will come up and it'll say, oh, okay, now I have the stats for when you fought that elite, and just overwrite the first value. Seeded runs on new profiles don't get a Niao bonus. Are you using like the unlock everything mod or anything to that effect that bumps you all the way up? What would you recommend as a threshold for I got spoiled? Saw the light stream thumbnail earlier and know one of the possible boss relics now. Um, I honestly just kind of like, I don't know if I really can put a strict thing around that. Also, hello semicolon. Hopefully
Hi.
you
Did
hello.
the Twitch work?
The Twitch worked. Welcome
Imagine.
to the stream party. As long as your microphone doesn't do the bullshit that mine was doing. But yeah, to Flintlock's question, I think it's just use your best judgment, honestly, of um, like if it ends up seriously affecting your decision making of um, like even you can try to metagame around it, but if it's like a bugaboo in your head, then that sucks. Of like um, for relics, like boss relics can be a bigger deal. If it's like cards, I'd say that doesn't matter as much because different paths end up seeing different card rewards anyway, a lot of the time. Um, if it's smaller things and you can just kind of like try to metagame around them and say like, what would I have decided here? A lot of the time, I think that's fine. Um, but yeah, yeah, use your best judgment. Um, the like I got spoiled, I think is more for like I saw part of somebody play their run and now I want to try it myself was sort of how I intended it. But if you yeah, it's a sliding scale. I don't know. I am rambling. Anyway, hello semicolon. Welcome
Hi.
welcome
I
again. Stream party.
I actually Book's run was up the entirety of like the last 2/3 of it was up, and I was paying so little attention I could tell you nothing other than that he killed the heart. I was
Hmm.
like, I'm not gonna put that as well. I also have not had
Yeah,
to face this question because I just click the no button when it asks if I won the seed.
also fair. Also fair.
But
Saltboxing
I
basically
could not
happens on
tell you
everyone.
anything about Book's run, so I was like, oh, I'm fine.
Oh god, is it doing the thing again? It's doing the thing again. Um, sorry, one minute. Okay, that should be it. Semicolon, can you say something again,
Asuki pushed buttons and now it's better, right?
please? I hope. I pray. Did this week's early, so that wouldn't happen. Narrowly died at the first boss. Unfortunate, but that happens. Happens to the best of us. I hope it was a fun run, even if a short run. Um, but yeah, semicolon. I don't know if you wanted to talk about your run at all in particular, or if you had thoughts in general from other ones that you had seen, or if it's just sort of a vague. I wanted to hop in and say hi.
I kind of wanted to see if this stream together thing worked, but saw a couple people on last week and enjoyed their commentary. Mostly just here. My run was, I think, pretty straightforward until I was the very classic did not find any focus route,
Yep.
and I'm very comfortable having lost this one. The more I think about it, the more I think this just is not remotely in my range to be,
That's fair. Yeah, it's
especially watching Baylor's run, where it's just
yeah. I mean, yeah, Baylor eked out a win by the skin of his teeth, not finding focus. One Pun Man, it sounds like you were in the same boat, eking out a win by the skin of your teeth, not finding focus. So if the rest of us mere mortals did not quite manage that, I think it's completely understandable. Good player, just find Echo and Frost Focus. It's true, Magnell is a good player, and he just found Echo and Frost Focus. See? Where's the fucking right there? See? Look at all this. Look at all this. Look at all this scaling shit. Got an echo form, got a defrag, got 2 capacitors, got loop plus. All the things had like 3 HP at the end. Oh yeah, free win. That's 2 more HP than you need. Just excessive, really. Um, excuse me. But yeah, kind of crazy just how different the card rewards can be depending on your path. Of like, it feels almost like a completely different seed at that point. Like Magnell, you and Baylor did not play the same run, even though you played the same run. You know what I mean?
sure had the same bosses.
Yeah, had the same bosses, had the same boss relics. But yeah, Gremlin
What was the
Leader, by the
infinite
way,
path?
was the sorry. What was the infinite path?
Yeah.
Um,
Sorry if you've already covered this. I was in a
No,
meeting.
I haven't. The pathing stuff is honestly like it's hard for me to interpret. It's like I if anybody else has ideas on how to better organize this pathing information, by all means, I am very open to it. But it looks like Boot went infinite by early Act 2 and ran into a whole bunch of hallway fights, dodged elites through Act 1, and then yeah, did that. I don't know. Real True Gravy, exclamation mark stats gives the link to the sheet. Good to have you here. And yeah, can compare pathing with other people at the very least. So, um, looks like, but were you the only one to have taken this Act 1 path though? Actually, I think yes, because you were the only one to take, oh no, 2 people dodged elites. 2 people dodged elites in Act 1. Um, is that, no, not there. Who is the other dodger? I'm blind. I don't know. Oh, you're the only 0 elite? Is my formulas just fucking up? Because I don't see another run. Oh, it's probably because I did this to try to make it. Oh, it still says 2. Okay, I don't fucking know. Took the no elite path, Act 1. Let me just... why did this... I don't know. I give up. I can poke at it later, maybe, but I will probably forget to do that. Only 2 Niao options were chosen with so many players. Yeah, I don't even remember what the other Niao options were. I know I was only really considering those 2. Transform and Snipe were the others. That sounds right. That sounds right. And Snipe, it was not a good map for it. Like you can see from the pathing, there's just everybody's taking lots of hallway fights early. I don't think there was even a chance at an elite Snipe on this one. And Transform is like, yeah, with remove 2 on the docket. Psycho took Transform but didn't share his run history. Okay, so there was at least 1 in the other bucket. I think with enough players there'd be diversity of strategy. Yeah, and again, this isn't all runs. This is the runs of people who shared their run data. So which is still a lot actually. Still quite a lot. Got 31 of you looks like. So thank for that. I click max for move 2 no matter what the other Niaos are. I mean, it is pretty damn strong on defect. And Max is very, very, very kind. If it was transform 1 versus swap, that map, you take transform 1. Some people are more comfortable with swap. Yeah, swap on defect is interesting. Why are there different boss swaps? There shouldn't be. Everyone who boss swapped got Dripper. Unless you're looking at something different, Toasty. Never mind. Okay, cool. Just making sure I didn't mess something up on my end. Yeah, map had no early shop. Otherwise, defect swap is pog. Yeah, because with defect swap, it's like cracked core sucks later, but it's a lot of power into early act 1. Like having that amount of output where you can dual cast before needing to play zap first, like that's a lot of early damage, and it's hard to give up without some guarantees of finding other things to fill the void a little bit early on. You saw like Snecko on that map and garbage rewards. Yeah, that's getting owned. Do good luck, have fun. Pretty much. Pretty much. Yeah. Yeah, I did this little breakdown too. It looks like Gremlin Leader got a lot of people on this one. I don't remember specifically like how elite seeding works, but I remember like I feel like she was really aggressive in most of the runs that I watched and in ours. I don't know if that's coincidence. But yeah, 11 by 3 every time. It was like, go take anger management classes, ladies. Stop attacking. Don't remember leader because you went infinite. Fair. Fair. But yeah, very aggro leader. Reptomancer versus Defect, tale as old as time. Wet and I actually had a pretty relatively easy time with Repto thanks to a late Act 3 Sunder and Sunder upgrade. And that combined with Gremlin Horn just kind of owned. Bookshelf saying, did I wabwam the leader? Yes. The answer is yes. Oh yeah, you had that Seek line. Yeah, very cool. If you have the clip for that, by the way, feel free to toss it out. And actually, on that note, I forget who it was who suggested it, but somebody put out the idea of like a sort of best of seed of the week type compilation. Is that the first or second leader? It would be the second again. I will try to fix that for next week. But yeah, someone had the idea of like a best of like highlights from Seed of the Week type compilation. If different people have like cool clips of cool lines or whatever from their stream that you would want to submit alongside, and then I could turn them into just like a group video to watch them all through. I am certainly not going to put in the effort to find and clip moments from everybody's VODs because it's great that there is a lot of you now participating. I love it, but that's just way too much effort. But if you guys are going through and clipping stuff yourselves anyway and would want to submit, I am completely down. I am not watching 50 hours to VODs to find one clip, unfortunately, no. I'd love to, but I have a thing that came up. Yeah. Yeah, I'm completely down to like stitch them together at the very least, as long as there's enough people who would actually be interested in submitting to have enough clips to be worth stitching together. So that's something I'm considering. If you have opinions one way or the other, let me know. One opinion is please watch 50 hours of VODs. Okay, that's 2 opinions. Noted. I will write that down. I am totally writing it. What if instead 50 people watched 1 hour of VODs? Interesting take, semicolon. Yeah. This is a thing that I am deliberating on. I'll figure out some way to like actually get them submitted. Because I don't really want to put it in the form necessarily because you might not have the clip right when you submit the form. Like you might want to go back and get them later. I don't know. But I'll think of something if there's interest. Sorry, go ahead.
Just make a channel in Discord right under Seed of the Week spoilers for Seed of the Week clip. Highlight clip.
Nice. Yeah, that could work. That could work very well. And then you can see them as they come in as well. Yeah.
I was kind
Nice.
of wishing for it because I was gonna go get the clip I made of Bookshelf, and then remembered that I can't open Seed of the Week spoilers right now.
Nice. Okay. Let me. Oops, a channel. I'm actually adding that one to my to-do list. So I'll get that up after stream. Will be two channels to mute then. When a new week comes out, because I'm assuming you don't want to see other people's clips before you've played the run yourself. But yeah, we'll see if that takes off, and if there's enough people posting clips, then I can start editing them. Cool. So yeah, I guess just general open floor again. I know at least a few of you have taken a peek at this sheet and said that you liked the stats from it. I don't know if there's anything in particular that you think you found interesting or that you would want to call out. Any interesting choices that were made? Actually, I'm remembering one. Where was it? The I think maybe people saw it on like different floors or different times, but I definitely remember there being a core surge versus cold snap moment. Um, and Wet and I greeted the core surge there. Was it here? Is it up against hologram for a bunch of people as well? Or was that this floor maybe? Took surge because it exhausts. Yeah. And I remember at the time it being like we didn't really have frost in the deck at the time, or we had like a chill or something like that. And it was, can we afford to take the core surge that doesn't really do anything right now versus do we need to take the frost that will do something right now? And we took the core surge. We figured we could carry it. We did not find biased. We bought a defrag, and that was our only focus. Book saying was probably Surge, but didn't have recurring frost, and the scary LaGuardia was coming. Yeah. I kind of figured that like Tori would solve Guardian for the most part, and like I think we had Tori by then. I can't remember. Pride one found bias. Yeah, a couple people did. How many? It was only one person who submitted found biased. About 40% of people found a defrag and slash or a loop, and then beyond that, it gets smaller. Excuse me. Like core surge enough to take one without bias. Me too. Yeah, Kuro found bias and abandoned. Yeah, Kuro had a wild run, and just had like all of the frost focus in the world by end of Act 2, and just said, "This is now boring. I'm not gonna finish it out." VOD, like what's left of the or what exists of the VOD, is in the linked in the sheet if anyone wants to see. Also, I had Giga Acceleration. Yeah. Um, Interesting watch, honestly. Interesting watch. Even though it is not a complete run, I think you can probably infer how the run would have ended up going. So every freaking time we give Kurosi to play, he just finds some busted, broken stuff nobody else sees. It's because he's better than us. You know, it's just we're not good enough gamers to find the giga broken bullshit. It's unfortunate, but you know, I'm working on it. Working on it. Top player difference. It's true. It's true. But yeah, that was where's the freaking thingy on floor summary? Um yeah, that choice of core surge versus mediocre frost for the near term, I think was one of the more interesting choices in our run. Um And in hindsight, the core surge definitely paid off, even without the biased cog. Just like the frost wouldn't have been doing all that much anyway, since we never found focus to go with it. We had to sort of, yeah, it's the worst frost. It was basically the only frost that we saw, besides chill. Like the run offered us like 5 cold snaps and not a single cool headed, not a single glacier. Um, just, do you want yet another cold snap? It is still frost. Yeah. Flintlock saying, I feel like that was me this week. Played super fast and high rolled 3D frags and an echo. Yeah. Hey, sometimes the Spire is kind. Sometimes the Spire is kind. And a capacitor. Boot saying, saw no frost outside of cold snap and 2 chills. Yeah. Same. Same. You didn't really need it though. just #infinite. Yeah, interestingly as well, I thought literally every winning player found sustain this run, either bites or self-repair or both, which with like a lot of coffee drippers in the relic bar is incredibly comfy.
There were bites? I was looking so hard for bites.
Apparently there were.
People are just better than me.
Yeah. Bites, 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 bites. Yeah. Self-repair was floor 1 of Act 3, so everyone saw it. People who didn't click it already have bites. Fair. Oh yeah, meat on the bone. I can't even remember what what the relics were in this one, honestly. But yeah, I do remember seeing meat on the bone and eternal feather in the same shop as the defrag, and we were on really low health, and my brain just like zoomed in on the really good sustain relics and got excited, and then went, wait, this is the only focus that we've been offered. We cannot afford both, and I cannot click the comfy sustain. So, what you gonna do? Speed running the stages of grief. Book saying body games out of its mind all run. Yeah, a lot of the winners again had reinforced body, reinforced, infinite, reinforced. Yeah, literally everybody except Boot had a reinforced body. Stats make it look like I'm bad because I took deliberate damage from meat in some fights. That's fair, honestly. Stats do lie sometimes.
Lies, damn lies, and statistics.
Indeed. Gravy saying, my goal for this week is not to have the actual worst run. A interesting data point, one of 3 people who greeted Capacitor in floor 1. We all lost early, yeah. I think Baylor actually had a brief discussion about that pick on his stream. Of basically, it comes down to Capacitor is a long-term play, and you are in Act 1, you need short-term value. It's super good later, but in the short term, it just kind of makes it harder for you to evoke the orbs that you already have. And you probably don't have enough orb gen to fill up the extra slots anyway. So it's just kind of like a slimed. If you believe in the capacitor, you can greet it. If you believe in the defect hard enough. Yeah, it is very strong later. But I think it's a difficult early pick. And that I came out in the floor summaries of only a couple people tried to believe in the defect that hard. Some people play that way. I just don't. Fair. Yeah. Actually, another question, just for the room. Floor 1 beam cell seemed like pretty overwhelmingly the pick. It was my first inclination as well, but I feel like wet encouraged me to go for the recursion instead, because I think the beam cell was a little bit pattern play-y of we had just removed 2 strikes. And so more of our damage is coming from zap, and being able to recur that is comfier. So I'm wondering what other people thought of that decision, of like if you had other reasons for actively wanting to click the beam cell and thinking that it's the strongest pick there. If you have reasons why, yeah, Seething clicking it, clicked it, but was still mad about it. It is still strong. It is still a beam cell card. I guess the question is it stronger than an early recursion? And I'm not so sure there. Yeah, if you swapped, then it's a no-brainer. I'm talking specifically for the people who removed 2 strikes. Magnal took recursion, and then you found all the frost focus in the entire world. So clearly the correct line. Like saying it's a zero cost card that does something useful that early and still plays late. The map is safe, so can see a greeting recursion. Recursion without dark or plasma is pretty sus. It's true. It does not do all that much early, but I mean the beam cell isn't doing all that much early either. I guess the argument being it's more likely to do more in the near term than recursion is if you don't. A beam cell without streamline or sunder or such defect has no damage, so you take it. Yeah, it's you want damage, and beam cell with when you're down 2 strikes is arguably not great damage. Recursion is Also arguably not great damage, but it's something.jpg. How's she saying? Kind of like taking it even with remove. Targeted damage, don't like relying entirely on lightning. Fair. Yeah, the targeting of it is nice. Skip the recur, suddenly dark is harder to pick. Thinking the beam cell wasn't going to help solve Knobber anyway, so just pretended Knob doesn't exist. Yeah. Skip the recur, suddenly
I made
dark
a
is
lot
harder
of
to pick,
bad
is it?
decisions because Knob was terrifying, and there was no Knob on the seed, and I
Knob
got
just doesn't
punished for being
exist.
terrifying.
Knob just doesn't exist. I don't know what you're talking about. It's an illusion. But I think there is actually something to be said for how heavily do you play around the knob in maps like this, because sometimes it's like instead of shaping your deck too heavily around how do I not get owned by knob, you just kind of like soft plan to get owned by knob and like take a bunch of damage and then heal it back up and say that's the price that I pay for taking a bunch of good skills. Um, Having good potions in the belt obviously makes that a hell of a lot easier. Fear of Knob definitely affects Stolid Fox early picks.
Yeah,
Skip recurred, you just snap, click darkness. Yeah, book saying just accept your 40 damage in Knob because you take 0 in Logos entries. Yeah.
and hallways, like that matters
And
too.
hallways. Yeah. Yeah. Just being broadly comfier. Sneakwood saying snap picking as recursion makes no sense. Recursion makes dark better. Recursion plays with a lot more than just dark. I mean, like dark and plasma are the best recursion targets. Of like, I mean, recur frost is like, it's fine. I don't know. If most of my orbs were frost, I would not be interested in clicking on a recursion unless I was like really desperate. Um, Late game damage was entirely dark orb recursion loop, saying bookshelf. Interesting. Um, if we go back over to do from the Doom and the Rainbow, I guess, with the dark orbs. And was this a early recursion? I guess I can check the floor by floor. I can't type recursion. Now where is bookshelf? Something is wrong. Interesting. Well, you had a recursion from somewhere, and my chart is ignoring that fact. Maybe it was a transform, because I don't think it has in like what you transformed into. It just says you transformed cards. That's probably what it is. Recursion is in the needs an upgrade category for me, but I guess also needs to be more than just another zap when I add it to the deck. That's fair. Toasty saying, very rarely take Recursion Act 1 in general. Maybe an oversight. Feels like a similar pick to Capacitor, just orb stuff before you actually have orbs. I mean, I think it's definitely better than Capacitor because it still does something in Act 1. Of you, like, especially if you haven't boss swapped, you have your starter orb, you can recur that at the very least. It's 8 damage. It's pretty bad at that point. It's like 2 more damage than a strike, but also you don't get to target it. So yeah, it's bad, but it's not actively useless. It still does something. I would say a lot of the time, Capacitor in Act 1 is actively useless or even detrimental. Yeah, Sword Boomerang. Kind of vibes. Yeah, definitely wants an upgrade. Definitely not something that I consider often. I think it was sort of an oddball pick of we're down 2 strikes and we want to try to lean into funny orb things. I don't know. Oh, might have been from orb walkers. Yep, that could be it as well. Could be it as well. Boot just clicks the greedy cards. Well, you lost, so you're wrong. It's true. It's true. Recursion doesn't necessarily have it without certain orb types. Serial Bar is saying we'll only take recursion in Act 1 without dark if I'm desperate, almost never floor 1. Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, the greed didn't end up panning out super hard, I think, for us anyway. So, yeah. I mean,
There's something to be said for Hello.
Hello?
Oh, I didn't see myself lighting up. I've been noticed as I watch streamers that they often have a lot more options than I do, and
Hmm.
the recursion conversation kind of fits there, where the better you get at micro, the better you are at, okay, I need the orbs in this order, and recursion gives me options to get the orbs in the
Hmm.
order that I want. So it could be that for players like Shu, it's doing more for them than it is for someone like me who's like, why am I taking 8
Hmm.
damage strike
Fair.
plus?
Yeah. I could see that. I could see that. Like if you're taking it more for the orb manipulation than you are for the output. Um, I think in our run, like for Wet and I, the logic was definitely more immediate output than anything. But yeah, Defect is for sure a micro heavy character. Lots of little decisions that all add up. Yeah, fusion without a lot of draw or upgrade also feels kind of sus. Yeah. Effect micro is painful. This is why I only play silent, except on Seat of the Weeks things when I just drag you into it kicking and screaming entirely of your own volition, I suppose. Book saying 3 holograms, 1 seek in hand, and to die. Yeah, sounds about right. Been there too many times. All the card manipulation in the entire world doesn't help if you don't know which cards are worth manipulating.
See, also, Frozen Eye just tells me that I'm going to die next turn.
It's true. Solid Fox saying, looks like I did Beam Cell after taking the removes. I think my thinking was I would be adding better attacks soon. It did get me through Act 1. I think that makes sense. And I think in hindsight, that probably is a better way to look at it. Of you're more likely to find attacks that will pop off with Beam Cell than you are to find things that will make recursion have a meaningful amount of output um, in the near term. So,
I
yeah,
watched Bookshelf's run and
I
was
died her.
very confused by, okay, so we take Beam Cell. This makes sense. We have Beam Cell and 2 strikes.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why we talked a lot about this in the spoiler channel. Why
Mm.
I was so thrown off by the chill over uh, sweeping beam
Mm.
pick, because I'm like,
Yeah,
we need to do something with this with this beam cell that we just picked. Chill does not do something with the beam cell we just picked.
that was another interesting choice here, um, which I apparently didn't sort properly. So I'm just gonna fix that now. Oh god.
Auto sort.
Yeah, except it gets funky when I try to do fancy things with the bullshit. Um, I will continue automating more of this eventually. It's in a sort of like half automated, half manual kludge state right now, but yeah, most people taking chill over the sweeping beam of it's frost, it's good frost. Um, yeah, see first frost, click first frost is sort of like it's not entirely a meme. I think it'd say 1 cost, it would still be bust broken on chill. Yeah, it is very strong. It is very strong. Um, I feel like sweeping beam pickers may be like again scared of knob, scared of AoE hallways, potentially sentries, um, semicolon hands. Yeah. Um, I don't know if anyone who picked sweeping beam over chill is here. And yeah, chill is better into sentries. It's great into AoE. It's exactly knob. Yeah, true. It pretty much just is terrified of knob, and I think we talked about that earlier. Of like, um, just sort of like take your 40 to knob for the sake of having a deck. Took 2 sweeping beams. I think we only took one. Baylor took 2, not on a swap.
I took
Um,
2, but I was on a swap.
hmm. Tousty is a sweeping beam enthusiast. Would you upgrade first fire if you take chill? Yeah, probably beam cell if you have it in deck. Um, Tousty, what were your early pickups here? A beam cell, sweeping beam, and then Smith the beam cell at first fire. Yeah. And for people who took
What did I
chill
smith at the first fire?
early on, uh, You Smith the Beam Cell as well.
Good. I made some good choices.
Chill not needing an upgrade is good. Yeah, it's sort of the oh, we do have two? I think one maybe came later. I don't remember. Oh no, we did just take two back to back. We sure did. I do not remember the details of this run. It was like a week ago. I barely remember what I did yesterday. I'm gonna have to rewatch our VOD for that and try to remember what our logic was for taking both of them. Because Flintlock saying watch the first hour of our VOD. Okay. So you probably have a better memory of it than I do, in fact. But yeah, Chill not needing an upgrade. It's kind of like Reaper in that sense of the upgrade being bad is kind of a feature, not a bug. Of like the card is just really good by itself. Cassie saying something I've been thinking about, waiting later to play the seed so I remember what happened for discussion. Yeah, that that is also a good reason to play it later in the week. I definitely will continue to do them on Mondays myself because I want to be able to watch as many live runs as I can without being spoiled by them. But yeah, having a clearer head, fresher stuff in mind for these discussion streams could be useful for sure. I might try to skim rewatch some of my VODs as well. 1 to 3 health. It's I feel like you almost always have better upgrades than Reaper. Flintlock saying try to stream again this week, maybe Thursday since Baylor's off. Hell yeah. I will try to catch yours if I can then. Yeah. Bites don't exhaust. Yeah, bites are different. Yeah. She's not. When, didn't you say you were like getting a new computer or something at some point, Boot, to try to fix the. I'm trying to get. Do you know like when that's happening? Of when can we maybe expect Boot stream? The people demand content. It's me. I'm people. I'm demanding content, and technology is garbage. I will say it again. Why is freaking not saving the Spire? It's incredibly sad. But yeah, OBS is garbage. Your laptop/old laptop is haunted. I have no other word for it after trying to help debug that garbage. Yeah. I mean, if you have any better theories than haunted, I'm all ears. But I'm out of other theories. um, I forget what we were talking about. Book killed my laptop. Murdered. Horrendous. Oh yeah, we were talking about the early chill versus sweeping beam. And I think I am gonna rewatch our VOD of trying to remember our logic for the two sweeping memes, because in hindsight, I think you guys are right in that early chill is just stronger across the board, except in knob, and take your lumps in the knob fight. And it is very energy hungry when you're not on a swap as well, which we were not. So hey, learnings. It's what this thing is for. Are any other like interesting? Did we have a pot? Like at what point in the run do you mean?
Swift pot comes on floor 2.
Okay. I'm glad somebody remembers because I sure don't,
Oh, I
and I
don't
can't
remember. I
think of
have
it.
my history up.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. Hindsight was swap better than remove. With hindsight, it looks like yes of like more than half of the swappers who submitted runs won, whereas yeah, we had six winners with remove 2, 6 winners with boss relic, but you can see a lot more people tried the remove. So 100% hindsight of just looking at the stats. Boss relic pickers were more likely to win. Remove also does go infinite with perfect hindsight, so So I guess that's slightly more hindsight of knowing what to expect from the seed if you were going to replay it. Remove 2 lets you make the choices that go infinite and just win. But with the slightly less hindsight of like just seeing how did people do on their blind runs. The swap is Dripper, which super strong in Act 1, and then in Act 2 you find Sustain, or at least early Act 3. Where's the repair? Yeah, there's a you can find a repair at a shop in Act 2 or at the latest at the start of Act 3.
I
And
would like to protest this "you
fights.
find sustain" thing. I did not.
Well, in theory, you find Sustain. The seed has Sustain.
I'm
The
so
winners
tilted
all
that there were
found it.
bites. I took 4 events.
Trying to find them. Flintlock saying need to practice and study defect infinites. Don't go for them enough. Fair. Don't get Recycle or Sundial. Can't recognize them other than the Meteor Snecko. Yeah, if you make it to Act 3, you find the repair. Died before he got to the Sustain. Fair enough. And I guess that kind of goes along with a thing. It's a bit of a tangent, but I was talking to Wet the other day about like the idea of a high roll inspire, and like there are plenty of runs that by the end of the run feel like a high roll, but it's like you had to pilot it through a whole bunch of garbage in order for it to turn into one. Of like just survive long enough and you find the repair. Even if the run becomes busted at that point, you still have to put a whole bunch of skill into enabling it to become busted. And so I don't personally really count those as high rolls. I just count them as seeds. And it's like you pilot them long enough to become winning. Congratulations. Good job. You did the thing.
You have to have gotten to a point where you'd call it a high roll by like mid Act 2.
Yeah. I would agree with that. Medkit Infinite, Madness, Silent has discard stuff, yeah. Boot saying once had a run that was complete garbage, central 2 acts, and then third act is just the most broken P box. Fair. Sometimes Aspire be like that. Of congratulations for surviving hell. Here is your reward. GG. Right? Of take credit for getting it that far. Pat yourself on the back. Good job. But yeah, going back, so in the hindsight thing of the you find sustain eventually. You do have to pilot through Act 1 and Act 2 successfully in order to get to the guaranteed self repair. And that's 2 full acts with no rest sites, but it is 2 full acts on an additional energy relative to most people. And also then into Act 3, you get freaking Pyramid or Snecko as options, which are so much better than the ones that everyone else got of freaking Sozu, Star, and what was the other one again for the Act 3? I don't even remember.
Was it
Um,
Inserter?
was Inserter the Act 3 one?
I saw Inserter in Act 2, but I didn't know if that was because I swapped.
Uh, where did I put the shit? Boss Relics.
Oh, Dome. Yeah. Thanks,
Dome.
you.
Dome. Yeah. The only magnetism picker who submitted run history, at least. Maybe someone else did. I don't know. Yeah, inserted Dripper Core, Act 1. So, um, so yeah, and that's another win for swappers in hindsight, is if you want to see a mid, you have to swap. Because otherwise you get Black Star with 4 elites, but no useful relics. Flintlock almost picked Magnetism, decided not to be that degen. Well, Bookshelf decided to be that degen. Worked out, but hey, it worked out for you too. So I did have Discovery. Fair. Yeah. Interesting seed on this one, honestly. I'm glad that we had at least a few wins in the did not find focus camp. I think those were super interesting runs, at least the ones of them that I saw. And One Pun Man, I'm definitely going to try and make the time to go back and catch your VOD at some point as well, at least skim through it. Baylor's run I saw live and was really, really cool. Very, like, incredibly close win at the end. Anyone else take 999? Mind Bloom. Closer took the fight. Lilite took the gold. Pridewind took the fight. Flintlock took 999. Tony took 999. So a bunch of people taking 999 actually. Ivory taking the 999. Yeah, because wasn't there an Omamori in this seed? I'm guessing a lot of people still had Omamori charges left by that point in the run. So yeah, plenty of shoppers on this one. I'll add that as another note. Breakdown of choices. Just like overall for a run for everyone who saw Mind Bloom on whatever floor, how many picked XYZ for all the different event types, I think would be a cool breakdown. Boot says, if I wasn't so scared of bricking with Bane and Garbo in Time Eater, take Mark for the Giga Flex. Fair. Flintlock had 2 out of 2 charges left at the time. Watched Light take 999 with only 1 out of 2 and then die before the shop. Oof. Yeah, that's painful. Cereal Bars had 1 charge in a shop right after to remove second normality. Good timing, good timing. Magnell had 1 charge and there was 1 elite before next shop. Decided to have fun, take the 999 anyway. Hey, I mean, again, it worked out. So clearly it was correct. Clearly correct. Boot had both charges. Nice, nice. I can't remember what, if anything, we used our charges on. I think one of them went to something kind of mediocre. Maybe it was Rob. Zeknar did not play this seed. At least if he did not submit. Which, honestly, when he's like so giga focused on his own defect streaking, I can understand not wanting to do yet another focused defect run that doesn't count towards that. Yeah. 2 entire people had the bomb.
What did the other swappers take for Act 2 Boss Relic?
Boss relics. Here. So I don't have it specifically by swap, but 4 took Pyramid and 3 took Sozu, or sorry, 3 took Snekowai, and these were options that were only available to swappers.
Sorry, I meant end of Act 1.
Oh, end of Act 1. 1 person took Dome, end of Act 1, and lost. Because swappers there see Inserter,
Sozu,
Dome, and Sozu, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you don't see these 2. Nobody picked the Sozu. 1 person picked Dome, and then yeah, most people took Inserter. It seems.
I had Sozu with a cultist bot, and in retrospect, probably should have taken it.
Kelsey saying all winning swappers took Inserter. I mean, yeah, it would have to be because nobody took Sozu. The only Dome pickers lost. So yeah, Inserter was the play there if you swapped. Germani saying that was me. Is the Act 1 Dome 5 energy Dome when you already have Frost isn't too bad. Fair. Did you find Focus to go with it, or like Echo Form or other kinds of scaling at all? Because if so, I can see that of just turtle up and say, what are the enemies doing? I don't really care. I probably block it anyway. 1 defrag. Fair. Daniel saying Inserter busted on 4 energy of just trying to fill up all the orb slots. Inserter Dome Sozu, yeah. 1 defrag is it's a little tricky. It's a little tricky. To make a dome work. How far did you end up getting, Germani? I guess I can check. Maybe just on here. Oh, so did get all the way. Did you win? Don't believe so. No, it was so Heart Death. Lost to the Heart, needed a buffer turn 2. It was the multi. Lost the 50-50, yeah. Still can't believe people saw a whole ass Echo Form in Act 1. Yeah, same. Where was my Echo Form? Spire, I would like a refund. I deserved that. Yeah.
I believe there's a song about Defect losing in Act 4 due to the
I
50-50.
lost the 50-50. Yeah. Oh god. Emote. Does this emote? Andre Monty. For learning. Good. Is it on BTTV as well? Do you know? Because I yeah. Yes, it is. Okay, cool. I add it through there then because I use the what you calls Twitch extension to show pronouns in chat, and that doesn't play nice with 7TV. So I try to stick with BTTV where I can because then that actually works for me and not just in my chat. 3 energy is OP. Isn't Dripper much better than Core? No. Um, I guess if you're infinite, not a hell of a lot matters. um, I don't know if you have like other more detailed thoughts there. So Zoo was better than Star. Yeah, I will admit I personally don't enjoy infinites. I know like a little bit about how to do them, but I am not experienced with them because I just don't try to be. Um, so I have a tough time evaluating when energy actually plays in a deck that either is or is trying to go infinite. Was ready to just rest every fire if needed to. Fair. And you didn't swap, right? Yeah, no, Core and Black Star. I guess that's fair. Of when you're talking mitigating risk of ruin, um, of it's like if something just doesn't line up in one fight and you get kind of owned, then you just rest back up. Also, garbage at defect infinite. It's completely new to me. Hey, hashtag learning. That's where we at. That is indeed where we at. Yeah, dropkick infinite is boring. Rushdown infinite also. I'm with you on that. Just have Clyde and Silent experience. Fair, 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 fair. Yeah. I am running out of prompts of things to say again. Anybody, again, open chat of things to call out, questions, cool lines, cool floors or decisions, turning points, whatever, anything that you think is worth chatting about, or should we put a bow on Hello World and say goodbye world? Used to force defect infants die in Act 2 a lot. Fair. Winning line is always to force infinites and you learn. That certainly is one thing that you could potentially learn from this experience. Oh gosh. Yeah, I think we talked about most of the stuff. That's Wet and I, by the way, at the end here. The lone we have a million relics and still died to the heart at the very least. But yeah, went mega elita farming with Black Star and just did not find enough to convert into a win. So a little sad, but there it is. Yeah. Hey, there is Wet. Welcome to the party. You're like right at the tail end. 3 for 3 on Seed of the Week Infinites. Must make that 4 for 4 tomorrow. I wish you luck, sir. Yeah, Wet. I think we're actually just wrapping up. I am running out of things to call out. Did you have anything in particular that you wanted to talk about for this seed that you thought was especially interesting, noteworthy choices, turning points, just cool things that you saw in other people's streams? Defect sucks. Important learnings. Yes. Um, Defect OP. Interesting counterpoint. Um, Defect is broken. You can take the word broken in 2 different directions, and both are accurate. Skipping speculative medkit is bad. I mean, I think we had this discussion in Discord a little bit of like how speculative was that medkit exactly. Um, medkit sucks. It's at least better than stinky toolbox. Whatever. But yeah, Baylor picked up a med kit at one point, well before he was infinite, and the question was how speculative was that, because it did allow him to eke out a win later once he found the recycle. And Boot still saying, as in Discord, wasn't speculative, was actually good in the immediate term. I think his logic was saying it opened up possible what you calls overclocked picks. Where's the fucking? Oh, I can't go in the spoilers chat now. Maybe if I just scroll up really fast, I'll just do that. Okay, I scrolled up fast enough. I did not see current week spoilers. So I have at some point in here that I time-stamped a link to that Baylor medkit pick, and my mouse is being fucked again. Okay. Goddamn, we talk a lot.
Yeah, that spoiler chat's been really hard to keep up with in a good way.
Here it is. Okay. Me. Okay, is this on screen? Yes.
Contains medical kits. Go for the eyes.
Sorry. Technology.
Twitchception.
Twitchception.
Current potions. I think they're pretty powerful. And go into our.
Of course, it then skipped over. Am I a boomer? Not usually. This is just, it's like, I do not control this infinite loading spinnering. This is Twitch boomering, not me boomering.
Clearly, it's your internet connection, which is why your webcam is also buffering.
Is it actually buffering?
No.
Okay.
Sarcasm.
Man, I can't tell these things. No one in this chat is bad with technology.
Contains medical kits. Go for the eyes. HELLOWORLD is here.
Working.
Healing
Hello,
is
world.
Quarter move is here. How much do I like a medical kit? Lets me get rid of statuses in a couple of fights at the end game here, which does seem vaguely important. It's also good insurance against Nemesis killing me, which actually could be a thing. It's kind of scary, right? Nemesis? Nemesis is pretty scary. There's a small chance it lets me take an overclock as well, which would be kind of cool. I'm gonna take that medical kit.
Yeah. So that was the logic, mostly being scared of Nemesis, and a little bit into the chance for spec overclock. And yeah, Boot saying deck being like 15 reels at that point. Wet still does not see the med kit at all. Hello World bricks my infinite. Understandable.
Could someone flesh out why he's scared of Nemesis there?
I mean, it kind of goes along with the deck has only 15 reels, right? Of when there are not a lot of real cards in your deck, getting a few burns added to the mix, your deck can very quickly become overtaken by said
Baylor had
curses.
15 reels?
At the time, that's what Boot was saying. And he did have a small deck at the time in general. Like it's 23 cards total, and some of those are definitely, powers and exhausting and what have you. So yeah, pretty small. And small enough that, again, once he got the recycle, he did manage to go infinite with it in Act 4. Which, like, granted, you can, like, hollow it back and stuff, but it's still, you have to put work into that to get the number down enough. Which, if it's, like, a really fat deck with a ton of reels already, that's... Yeah, there was a streamline that wanted to be played a lot. That's true. That was, like, a large proportion of his damage was just replaying Streamline over and over and over again. Sort of rebound it and hologram it and so on and so forth. Yeah. He didn't have a rebound, but he did have 3 hologram pluses by the end. Jeez. If there's a strong loop, can see it. No. Well, that was the loop, for better or worse, I suppose.
How do you categorize these?
Vibes. Yeah.
For every card, you're just like, I think it goes in this bucket.
Yeah, there were a couple that I couldn't decide, and I put in 2 buckets. Like, Recycle, I counted as both scaling and energy, because, like, for some decks, like for Baylor, it was the scaling card that allowed him to win. For other decks, it's sort of more of a nice to have, like, make a little bit of energy consistency add than that. There was one other that I put into categories. Meteor Strike I put as energy and damage. You were the only winner who took Hello World, at least. So congrats on being the Hello Worldiest, I suppose, with the mascot card in the seed and getting a win out of it. Congratulations. Yours was fully based around recycle scaling for most of the run too. Yeah, so like it has to live in scaling. Recycle has to live in scaling, but it's also an energy card. But yeah, it's mostly with this. It's I just thought about, like, what do I want to highlight with these runs that I think is interesting, and one of the things was like how much scaling did people have, and being able to say, oh, like, Baylor literally floor 48 is when he found his first scaling. That's a cool thing to call out. When it comes to sustain, of, being able to say every winning player found sustain of some kind. If it's, like, for defense, having defense and frost as separate categories is a little odd, but, like, there's also how much do you have to block, when you don't have frost, of like look at Joe's run. He has the 1 reinforced body, but it doesn't matter because he has defrag, creative AI, and a shit ton of frost. That's the block plan. And, seeing the disparity there as a sort of comparing stuff. So purely vibes-based categories. Obviously, they'll have to be slightly different categories for different characters, because there's no point in having a frost category for Clad. Yeah, it's purely just, what do I think are interesting relationships to highlight about them. And if y'all have opinions on what would be interesting for the Clad seed, feel free to toss them in the spoilers chat in Discord, and I will take that into consideration when I get around to it this next week. So yeah. Dropkick for April Fools. Potentially. There are arguments. Clash. There we go. Oh boy. Picked a Clash and I liked it. We will see if that song continues to be lies tonight at 7 p.m. EST. Must have the smallest deck again. I mean, you won that award by a fair margin this time. Out of everyone who submitted seeds anyway. Next closest at 26. Who had the 26 run? That was Baylor. Yeah. Fun seed. Interesting seed. Good learnings from it. I am looking forward to getting back to Clad again. Defect makes my brain hurt a little bit, but I think I picked up a few good good perspectives from this discussion today. So again, thank you everyone who participated in playing out this seed and participated in the discussion around it. I really enjoying these discussion streams, and I hope the rest of you guys are too. Need to play it now so you can watch the stream. Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, Wet and I are going live in about an hour and a half again. That's how time works, somewhere around that. Yeah, taking a quick break in between to grab dinner, grab a speed nap potentially. We'll see. We'll see. And then yeah, back up for April Fools. Do not be fooled by this or um, any other spoilers that, not spoilers, just pranks and stuff that may exist around the internets today. Thank
I
you.
was wondering if, sorry,
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
I was wondering if 32% is actually pretty close to expected. That might be pretty close to a mid-roll seed.
Hmm.
If you're just A20 win rates, there's some players that are probably, but it might be a little on the high end for a defect seed actually.
I mean, we do have a lot of very strong players participating in this thing, and I think there's probably also a little bit of selection bias, where I'm sure there's at least one or two people who tried the seed and died early on and decided not to submit because they didn't want their name associated with that. If that's you, I get it, no judgment. But there's probably at least a little bit of sampling bias there, is what I'm
That's
saying.
fair.
Just from that, and also from just like the people who heard about this thing first, I think, are a lot of like Twitch streamers who have been playing this game for a long time. Yeah, some of the paths were free. Echo Form in Act 1, if you found that, pretty nice, pretty comfy. So yeah, it's there are lots of things that are bumping the win rates up on this thing. We'll see if that holds true over time. There may be like more kind of average A20 players who try this thing out over time as it becomes a little bit more well known. Complaining, valid, valid. So I honestly have no idea what an average expected win rate for a mid-roll seed on this would be. I think it's sort of just we have to wait and see until more runs come in and what they end up leveling off at as. I definitely would not call this seed a high roll seed. I think there were some strong paths and there were some incredibly challenging paths. You think average win rate is like 15%? Probably a decent benchmark. Yeah, I don't know. We will see.
Has anyone submitted a non A20 run history?
I don't believe so. I do have the Ascension in there just to like make sure, and so everyone who's submitted runs has been A20. I expect that to continue. I did put in the sheet that like you're welcome to play the seed if you're not on A20, but official participation is just for A20H. So I'm expecting that some people probably just didn't submit in that vote. So
Okay.
yeah.
Right. Sorry to interrupt your ending stream.
No.
I just wanted to ask that.
No, it's a good question. That's a good call out, and that's what we're here for. See, the week threw me off. It's lower than you expected. I mean, it's like the win rate for this seed is lower than you expected. I think that's still again just pathing, right? Of some people saw very different things. Thought it gets sampling bias. Yeah, a lot of people submitted even with losing runs. Yeah, I certainly expected that to be more of a bias, but pleasantly surprised that it's not. I think a lot of people have the same attitude coming into this that that I have of like it's a learning thing, and I want to be able to compare my run to better players. You know, I want to see that kind of like floor by floor and be able to analyze more easily. You know, where did I go wrong? And so, kudos again to everyone who submitted in that vote as well. All right, I think I actually will wrap up now, unless anyone else has closing thoughts, because I do need to grab to make some dinner and such before we finish up. I'm muted on my end. refuse to delay ending anymore. Okay, whatever. Technology's garbage. Who is live with Spire? Oh no, it's Chego's last Slay the Spire stream ever. I'm sure that's totally real and legitimate and not an April Fool's joke. Let me go and say hi to him. One last quick plug before again for the Discord. If you want to chat about Seed of the Week stuff between these recap streams, that is the best place to do it. And let us go and start the raid now. Thanks again, everybody, for hanging out. Thanks, Semicolon, for popping in and chatting with me as well, so I'm not just talking to myself this whole time. Thanks again to everyone who played. Best of luck in the April Fool's Seed if you plan to try it, and I will see you guys around. Take care.